Everybody, welcome back to
Hi, everybody.
Oh my
welcome
gosh,
back to the show.
All I'm gonna say is I would be mortified if anybody heard what we were just talking about. On the
I can't wait.
I wouldn't be.
Oh man,
I'd be very proud.
I'd be proud. I'd go to Australia, give you a pat on your back.
Thank you.
Yep.
Well, I'm happy to say that we have reached an episode that is a number higher than the age that I am. Episode 30. How is everybody?
Hey. Doing well. Doing really,
good.
really well. Like it's been a good catch up during the pre-show. If you guys listening to the audio version of this podcast right now aren't catching the pre-show live, you guys are missing out. But that being said, I've had a really, really good Saturday. That's a lie. I just lied. I had a migraine today. I forgot about it in the meantime because like we were having such a good time on the show. It improved my Saturday. But after I woke up from my nap after my migraine, I had some crab rangoon. And I also had some banana milk boba. Like
That's
that
amazing.
was it. I'm having a great Saturday actually.
It's funny. Week. We pretty much had a similar Saturday because we had crab rangoon, and then I had chicken hibachi. She had the beef fried rice. So I mean, and I had a strawberry boba for the first time.
You got your boba virginity taken away, huh?
It was good. It was good.
Did you have like the jelly boba or did you have the tapioca kind?
I don't know. There were black balls at the bottom of my drink.
Were they
delicious.
Were they jelly-ish?
Oh.
Yeah, they were jelly-ish.
Then you had the actual like tapioca boba.
Oh, no, it was good.
They have like those jelly poppers that you put on. If you've ever been to like an Orange Leaf or a yogurt place where they have those like little jelly balls that are fruit flavored, they also do that in boba that are pretty okay. So
that's pretty cool.
Oh man, cool. What about you, Eric? Did you go to the coffee shop today?
I did. Yes, I did. I went and got Ambi an iced coffee, which was iced coffee here is different. So when you say iced coffee, like at Dunkin' Donuts, you just get like a nice latte, whatever, with like 2 squirts of liquid sugar and cream or whatever. Here, it's like it's in a big ass thing. Comes with your coffee, your milk, your ice cubes, ice cream, and whipped cream. It's like the full shebang.
It's like a coffee float.
Yeah, pretty much. And I got my son a vanilla milkshake.
Milkshake for breakfast again?
Yo,
he's been a good boy.
He's special. I'm the kind of dad that's just like, he'll ask for ice cream at maybe 7 a.m. and I'll say no a good 40 times, and then I'll be like, all right.
I understand.
I understand. There's only so much I can take.
Good 4 times, and I'm like, no, fine here.
Just give it.
Ask me again.
I got to tell you what, we've had Japanese food a few times. I got free Japanese food during the week because of some sort of error with their card machine. And I was like, here's my card. Good. Oh, it's not working. And I'm like, okay, sure. So I got free Japanese. Amber and I have been on the chicken Caesar wraps lately from McDonald's.
Oh, they took those away from here
we
for
don't
a
get
long
those.
time. I don't think we even have them.
You guys don't have them anymore. I tell you what, it's kind of a new addiction.
Yeah, that was a snack wrap. That was my lunch for a long time. We were like, all right, I need 2 snack wraps. Like,
I used to drive to work at Syracuse University. I'd leave the house at 1:30 or something to get there like 2. So I'd go to McDonald's, I'd go through the drive-thru and I'd get 2 crispy chicken snack wraps. It'd be like $1.50 each. It's good. It's good stuff.
Oh, I'm being told wraps are back, baby.
Look at that.
Yeah. Well,
Time to go to McDonald's.
Yeah.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I also want to say a big thank you to everybody who's listening and checking out the show on Apple Podcasts. We got 5. Hang on. We got 7 5-star ratings. Thank you so much. For that. If you are listening there, please go give us 5 stars. We've got 19 5 stars on Spotify as well. So thank you so much for supporting us over there. We've got 137 subscribers on YouTube, and we're happening here on Twitch live right now. And just remember, if you want more content more often, you can always check us out on Patreon. We're posting behind the scenes episodes every week, and I didn't get a chance to properly thank everybody who supports the show, but thank you so much. All of these people who are listed here, I think that there's like 13 people supporting us on Patreon now. which is fantastic. So you guys are getting extra step every week. And not only that, we have the midnight snack stuff with our wives that went up a week and a bit ago. I feel like we didn't plug that enough. So if you want to see our wives get on here and talk about stuff, show off some of our old pictures, what we looked like as kids, teenagers, babies, young men, all the tea gets spilled. So you can go find all that at patreon.com/breakfast of champions.
No, for real, like those ratings go a super long way. Like everybody always is like, hey, please give me a thumbs up. Please go rate this. Please go. The big reason is that discoverability. The higher we're rated, the more often they're going to say, hey, you should listen to these three guys. They're cool. They're good for your health, or maybe not. Who knows?
Absolutely.
But anyway,
yeah. And hang on. All of the podcast stuff as well has been going okay. I'm trying to look at the hosting thing, but the website isn't working, so I can't tell you what the stats are this week. We do have a voicemail as well.
Hey,
so I will tee that up. Let's have a. By the way, I want to apologize to Frog Fuchsius who called in last week and left a voicemail. I'm pretty sure his question was if you could fix any multiplayer single player experience. KB,
that's what I thought it was.
KB answered the question
KB was
correctly.
The only one right.
I'm very sorry because I listened back to that episode. I'm like, oh my god, it was fixed.
Man.
So I'm sorry. So you were correct to do your Last of Us thing.
I'm not just another pretty face on the internet, man. I'll tell you.
I know.
He's also got God hearing.
But if you do want to call in and leave a voicemail, it's 1-315-314-4190. And plus, we're going to have a brand new website soon where you could submit voice clips as well. So please look forward to that. So here's our voicemail for today. Let me know if you guys can hear it.
Okay, so here's the thing. I've got quite a question here for you. If you could revive any forgotten game, what would it be and why? Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go brush my tooth.
If you could revive any forgotten game, what game would you revive?
I can already tell you 1000% my answer.
Trip World?
You want to go first though, KB, or do you want me to go?
You go.
I mean, I would like to see. And we'll probably talk a little bit about this here in the next thing, but Final Fantasy Tactics, man, what happened to that? They made it and then it went away. You know?
It's a huge mistake. They made it and then they moved on to Octopath and Triangle Strategy
but it's not the same though. It's not the same. It's not the same. So that's what mine would be. I'm just doing a quick Final Fantasy Tactics is mine. Bring the whole thing back. I don't care what you got to do.
Yep. I will tell you mine, and I think there are 1,000 people out there that are going to agree with me too. Golden Sun.
Yeah.
I want Golden Sun back so badly. And I understand why it went away when it did, but Golden Suns 1 and 2 on the GBA, and then they did the follow-up one on the DS.
Dark Dawn
one on the DS. Yes, and it's just not good in comparison to the original two, I feel like. It didn't get the sales figures. It was a broken experience, and Nintendo, instead of going, hey, we did that game no justice. Instead of saying, hey, let's give it another shot, they vaulted it, and we're never going to see it again. Just give Camelot another chance. Don't make them pump out freaking Super Mario Super Sluggers or whatever next sports game they're going to throw on there. Let them do their creative thing.
I have so many games that are jumping out, and it's not necessarily games that have been forgotten about. It's just games that, like, well, for example, I put out a YouTube video the other day. It was games that disappeared, just covering games that were announced and teased and then just kind of fizzled out. But I would love to see Golden Sun for sure. I would love that. Immediately, my brain went to Gunstar Heroes. Gunstar Heroes would be cool to see. But I think I would really just love to see like a redoing or a retouching of Earthbound. And this is kind of me like answering the question, but not answering the question. You know how Link's Awakening was redone for the Switch, like in that beautiful visual style? I would really love to see Earthbound redone like that, like in some sort of claymation style, or even Chrono Trigger. Like these, like Chrono Trigger specifically, like it's only accessible on Steam. now.
Yeah.
So, and it's not necessarily a forgotten game, but I feel like Chrono Trigger or Earthbound could be so much better and more just accessible on like the Switch or something like that, redone in a style like that.
I hate when things get vaulted. Like that, at the end of the day, like especially like even the old stuff, where you can't play the old stuff anymore in any modern fashion that makes sense for a majority of people. It's frustrating to see that happen, and that's disappointing. I'm with you.
Zero 2K says Titanfall. Titanfall's a really great choice because the first Titanfall was like that was exclusively like a multiplayer game, and then Titanfall 2 was really great. Like that was a really great
awesome
game.
Story.
It was, yeah.
An awesome story with time jump mechanics and all kinds of other crazy stuff.
Good.
Well, get this, peep this, fam. They were working on Titanfall 3, and the dev studio canned it, put it in the trash, and laid off the entire team that was working on it.
That's a shame. So never
Because
happened.
Supposed to be a crossover with Apex, though.
Yep, they want to put all their eggs in the live service basket. So we could have had a Titanfall 3 with an Apex crossover, and it's not happening.
Bullfrog says F-Zero. I agree. I would love to see F-Zero come back, and they've acknowledged it every now and again. But Nintendo's just silly. Like they're not going to bring it back because in Miyamoto's mind, like if all they're going to do is release an F-Zero game on the Switch with like 30 different futuristic racing tracks, there's no point because they're not innovating enough. That's to me, like I love Miyamoto, but that's his toxic trait. He just like loves to shoehorn just the random stuff in these games.
Give me a gimmick. But it's not worth it if you can't give me a gimmick.
I know
Bullfrog said another one earlier. Infamous, man. The Infamous Second Son was my first Infamous game, like my first entry into the series, and I really enjoyed that. And there's nothing else for that. That's kind of dead.
Yeah, it's there's so many games and so many things that you could choose from for things to bring back. So that's a really great question. So thank you so much, Frogfucius, for the wonderful voicemail. So what do you say we flick on over to our Newsbyte now, because it's been a huge week and we have a ton of stuff to cover as always. Today's Newsbyte. What have we got to cover? What do we got to cover today? There's so much stuff. Who's first on the list, by the way? It's probably
I think we have KB. I think we have KB going first.
You just talked about this like
want to share
2 seconds ago.
I know. Well, the series I want to come back is Final Fantasy Tactics, and allegedly a Square Enix developer let slip that yes, a Final Fantasy Tactics remaster is probably on the way. Let me see here. I'm looking through the article. So this is from PC Gamer, which a lot of this news of these games that are being leaked are all from that giant Nvidia leak.
Thank you, Nvidia.
They're doing the Lord's work out there for all of us. So Final Fantasy Tactics, from what I'm reading here, it's 25 years old now. So we're close to it. We're close to an anniversary. I mean, they could do 25th anniversary. They could wait and do a 30th. But Final Fantasy Tactics is 25 years old now, and other than some handheld editions like a PSP remaster in 2007, it hasn't received much attention in the last decade, even as other games in the franchise are frequently being updated. It's also never been ported to PC, making it something of a white whale among Square Enix's library, among Final Fantasy fans who play on PC. And I'll tell you what, man, news of this is it's really good. It's really good, especially considering we had Tactics Ogre ported, remastered and ported over to PC. Like you had mentioned earlier, we have Triangle Strategy on PC. I mean, I love tactics games, so I will take them all. But the one that started for me was Final Fantasy Tactics and Advanced Wars, and I'm getting Advanced Wars in April. So come on, bring me my Final Fantasy Tactics. Let's go.
I mean, at the end of the day, like tactics, it's such a genre that is making a renaissance right now. I mean, they are straight up coming back into their own. There's so many tactics options out there. There's no reason that the father of all tactics games shouldn't be in there. And I know it's not the first, but it's the best executed in my opinion. And I don't know why it's not been on the horizon for a remake.
I have never played it.
It's cool to see this.
You've never played it.
I've played Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Like Cody, you sent this to me in the mail. Like I played this growing up. I really liked that game. It was really cool. It was also really challenging and hard, but I found that the tactics style of gameplay was really addicting and really fun. So Final Fantasy Tactics has been on my radar to get to forever. And I've just recently got all my ROMs and stuff on my Steam Deck working. Like I was playing through some PS1 games, and I hooked up my Steam Deck to my CRT. Like it looks really cool. Looks fantastic. And I was checking out Arc the Lad, which is a really interesting PS1 game, which to no surprise has the music composed by Masahiro Ando from T-Square. And of course I'm freaking all about that. I just swear to God, if you play the first 20 minutes of that game, you are going to be enveloped in a world of music that's beyond any imagination. Anyway, so Final Fantasy Tactics, I have it on my Steam Deck, but I'm like, should I wait? Because I want to wait and I want to experience it. Because like if I play this game now, I'm going to regret playing it when they do an inevitable remaster. Because that's been on the horizon for the last year and a bit. So should I just wait? You know.
Well, here's what
I had that experience recently with Metroid Prime.
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
Through the Dolphin widescreen hack of Metroid Prime, and every single bit of my muscle memory, because I was a good bit into that game, like on its own through the emulation, and they did the release of that right after the Nintendo Direct, which foreshadowing for later on in this topic today, but. I started picking that up. I was so mad because the controls are so different. And I was like, my hands just keep doing the wrong thing. So like I personally, if it's a real thing, I would wait. But there's no way to say this is a sure thing. What were you about to say, KB? My apologies.
No, I was just gonna say you put Metroid Prime on your PC. I put the Metroid Prime trilogy on my Steam Deck, and then the next day, there it is. So, like, Eric, absolutely put it.
Maybe I'll just put tactics on my PC.
Yeah, do it. Somebody do it to will it, man. Yeah, exactly.
Well, don't forget, there's a supposed like Final Fantasy 35th anniversary or something. Like, I've seen it out floating around on the internet. I don't know if it's like a confirmed stream or not, but like, there's supposed to be like a shit ton of games, like Final Fantasy games, like confirmed soon. Tactics could be one of those games. Of course, they're gonna update everybody about 16. They're gonna update everybody about Rebirth, Ever Crisis, and all that stuff as well. And then there's supposed to be a Final Fantasy 9 remake. So there's like a ton of things happening at the moment now, and I would love for Tactics to be a part of that. So speaking of great JRPGs, this is one that I've been really passionate about lately. Is Sea of Stars. So Sea of Stars is a game that's been on Kickstarter for a little while. I actually don't even know the Kickstarter numbers. Let me just quickly Kickstarter Sea of Stars. I want to see how many people have backed that. So Sea of Stars by Sabotage Studios. So that was April 1st of 2020. They did the Kickstarter. So 25,589 backers and $1.6 million Canadian backed that game. So this has been a really special and hotly anticipated game for years, because it not only is like taking that classic Chrono Trigger and classic 16-bit JRPG energy and bringing it forth into 2023, but it's also bringing up a guest composer, which is Yasunori Mitsuda from Chrono Trigger and Xenogears, which is two of my favorite games of all time. So the demo dropped the other day, and it just kind of stealth dropped in the Nintendo Direct. And I tell you what, I was super stoked about it. I did a YouTube stream. I did a Let's Play video for YouTube, and I thought it was fantastic. I really, really, really enjoyed the brief hour of the demo and gameplay. So I can say, if you haven't played it here, please check it out. Go play it. It's free. I don't know if it's a limited demo or whatever, but go play it. Get a vibe for the game. It's awesome. And I love the visual look, visual aesthetic. Everything they're doing here is great. And that's not me overhyping the game. Like, the demo delivered 100%. So I'm super stoked about that. What do you guys think?
Sabotage posted in their Discord channel as well. They have like their own Discord about that demo coming to more than just Nintendo Switch as well. So if you don't have Nintendo Switch, that demo will be coming out on Steam. It will be coming out on PlayStation. Will be coming out on Xbox, but at a later date. They haven't announced just yet. But yeah, no, like I got a very little amount of time with it because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do after the Nintendo Direct dropped all of that really amazing, awesome stuff that day. Asked my community, hey, what do you want me to do? I ended up playing some Metroid Prime Remastered instead, but I did dive into that for about 5-10 minutes. Dude, Valerie's like Moonerang ability, you can ricochet that so much. It's so much fun. It has beautiful pixel art, amazing music. I really love the way they did their overworld. It's not just like this plain Jane, just like overworld map.
It's like Chrono Trigger,
like you would see. Yeah, like it has character, and it's just they've done such a good job with that game. And I didn't expect anything less after playing The Messenger. Like The Messenger's so good too, but this game, it is phenomenal and just hits all of those right nostalgia pieces and has some really funny, really great writing in it as well.
I posted on Twitter. I posted a clip because I just wanted to try and get their attention. Be like, hey, here, I do this thing. I do this stuff. Anyway, I posted a Twitter clip about me finding Yasunori Matsuda's song in there because they put one clip of his songs on the world map. And I discovered that because you can actually like go to enter the area and it's like, this is a song composed by Matsuda but I didn't do that. I just knew it was his song right away, and I got chills and I got goosebumps and stuff. And in the Twitter post, I was like, I would love to grab this game soundtrack on vinyl. So they replied to me. They're like, thanks for the lovely feedback. Yes, this is going to be on vinyl. So like, hell yeah, I'm buying that soundtrack on vinyl. That game has all the vibes that I want. And like Chained Echoes was a game that a lot of people have been talking about, especially on like JRPG groups on Facebook, and like every second post on Facebook, me scrolling on the JRPG groups, like Change Echoes, greatest thing, blah, blah, blah. Second coming of Xenogears. But it's like, this Sea of Stars, I'm sorry, this is a game that you really want to get hyped about if you like classic JRPGs.
1000%.
Anyway.
1000%. Very excited for that game. What about you, KB? Have you had much time with that demo?
I played probably 20 minutes of it, and I did it handheld on the OLED. And oh man, is that good looking, dude!
I guarantee
it's really good. And I mean, I've been looking forward to that game since it was released. So being able to play a little bit of it was really good. Unfortunately, my time's cut short because of Metroid. Man, I've been wanting to play Metroid Prime so much. That's been my thing.
I do want to say I like the fact that they're kind of bouncing around in the story on there, so you're not like getting spoiled. And even when there is a spoiler, it's like redacted for spoilers, and I'm like, so good.
Yeah, check this out, redacted. There's also if you're also into there's another one, Octopath Traveler 2 also has a demo. So if you guys are into that, that is also out there.
Kind of on the topic of all the new Nintendo stuff too. One of the things that just recently got revealed is the price point of another hotly anticipated video game, Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. So early, the day before the Direct, it actually leaked on Nintendo's listing page that it was going to be $70. They took it down really fast. It was also on like a bunch of like different retailers' websites at $70. It got taken down. And then during the Direct, Nintendo announced that the upcoming Zelda entry will retail for $69.99. This makes Nintendo the latest major publisher to test the waters of raising the price of its AAA games in recent years. One of the things that I want to highlight here, though, Game Informer reached out to Nintendo to gain some insight on that price tag. And on the reasoning for the $69.99 price tag for Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, Nintendo's response was, we determine the suggested retail price for any Nintendo product on a case-by-case basis, and also on if this is the trend for Nintendo titles going forward. No, we determine the suggested retail price for any Nintendo product on a case-by-case basis. I have feelings on it, though, and my feelings is this case-by-case basis is just an effect because Xbox and PlayStation are getting theirs at $69.99. Why not Nintendo? So
I know.
I don't know. I have some feelings.
Yeah. I mean, the price is eventually going to go up for everything. It's if you look at how much games should cost, they're still relatively cheap.
Yeah.
I'm fine with the price tag. The thing is that if they gave me a justification that was more than just, hey, because everyone else is doing it, we're doing it too. Like that, I would have been like, oh, okay, whatever. If they had said, hey, we have been developing this game for way longer than we anticipated, because they had been, because it hit delay after delay after delay, or because XYZ reason, dude, fine, let me support you. But if you're going to tell me you're going to charge me $69.99 just because, like,
so listen to this.
That's just upsetting.
When Chrono Trigger was released in 1995, it retailed for $80, then plus tax. Okay, depending on what your state, you would have a certain percentage of tax. $80 in 1995 is equivalent in purchasing power to about $156.28 today, an increase of $76.28 over 27 years. So that is inflation for you. So, for everybody potentially bitching about spending an extra $10, be lucky that games don't cost what they did in the 90s, because that was the wild west of pricing. Even here for me in Australia to get Tears of the Kingdom is $89.95 at EB Games. And to be honest with you, that's a price tag that originally when I came to Australia would have shocked me, because I remember seeing prices of games here at EB Games and being like, what's going on here? But then of course the cost of living is like 40 to 60% higher and all that stuff. So like, this is fine. Gran Turismo 7, when that came out, was $120 plus, and Returnal was like $120 at EB Games. Yeah. So $89.95. I mean, I'm sorry, and I said this in the Discord the other day, but $100 in Australia is the new $20. I'm not kidding. So $89.95, whatever, or that's fine. I'll pay it. It is what it is, man.
There is one more news thing here, though, that's Nintendo themed too.
Yes.
And I don't think we can forget our friends over at hard-drive.net.
Yep.
Latest article here. Officially a gamer. This is surrounding Nintendo. Mom's face registers a flicker of recognition at the word Nintendo. This comes from St. Louis by Camden, Brazil on February 9th, 2023. Another gamer has just joined the ranks now that local mom Helen Schmidt registered a flicker of recognition when her son said the word Nintendo. Her son Elliot says, I said Nintendo, and for a brief, fleeting instant, her face lit up as if she remembered hearing that word before. It's official, boys. She is one of us. However, at press time, sources close to the situation report that Helen may be more of a gamer than many may realize, as she has had an Overwatch 2 account with over 6,000 hours and ranked in Grandmaster. Listen, guys, this is absolutely newsworthy, and the big reason here is that it's nice to know that that gamers continue to rise, and not many people forget the name Nintendo.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Nintendo was synonymous with games. People forget. They used to say, give me those Nintendo tapes.
It was.
I remember.
And even when they were asking for a Sega Genesis game, I need a new game for my Nintendo.
Yep. There you go. So harddrive.net, a very real and reputable source. Speaking of real and reputable news, oh boy, check this out. So of course we had a giant Nintendo Direct during the week, and we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about everything that was contained within the Direct, but also lead up to the topic of today is the Switch is dead, and the Nintendo Direct confirms why. Now it's easy for us to be a glass half full kind of gamer here with the Nintendo Direct, but I think the glass is half empty, if not more, because the Switch is coming up on 7 years now here at retail. All the games that we saw are really limited within a limited space, space to time window or whatever for the year this year. So, KB, tell us what some of the stuff that happened at the Direct. Let's do a quick quick recap, if we will.
Man, well, they open up the direct and they're showing us a few games that we kind of already knew that were coming. A lot of us were looking for that Advanced Wars, which they absolutely delivered on. Very excited for that. It was kind of interesting because Cody made up a good point, and it was something that they did later on. They said, okay, Advanced Wars is going to come out. What they say, April? Is that?
Yeah.
April?
Yep.
Yeah. So digital, physical, they're gonna release that April. It was really weird that they didn't say you could get digital now and physical later. That was something that I know, Cody, you had said they could absolutely do it. They've done it before. They ended up doing it later on in the announcements.
In the show.
But like, I agree, man. I agree. We know it's done. Somebody was already playing it.
Last year this time.
Yeah. So like, it's already a thing. We know it's there. That was good. Of course, they showed off Tears of the Kingdom, which that's always going to be the big finisher.
Can I just quickly speculate? Nintendo has been sharing some images of like a rotted Master Sword, and Link has this new power on his right hand, and some of the early game imagery and video, Link has a normal hand. It looks like he gets injured. I think this is just pure speculation, but I think somehow in the timeline this is like, is this confirmed to be like the last game in the timeline? Does anybody
I haven't seen anything specifically. I don't think the people at the Hyrule Historia have gotten a hold of it enough to really be able to make a decision. But
okay, yes, so Breath of the Wild takes place at the end of the timeline.
Okay.
So canonically, this is the last game in the Zelda timeline. So this would be really cool if, this is my theory, if Fi from Skyward Sword is still lingering around and gives Zelda, my God, Link extra power, like somehow revitalizes Link's right hand. Do you know what I mean though? Like I'm fumbling real hard.
There's a cardinal sin right there from gamers. But that being said,
I'm so sorry.
I think you're absolutely on it. It would be cool though if they did what you just said and actually gave Zelda the powers and actually made the Legend of Zelda about Zelda.
See, they're showing Link's right hand there.
Yeah, it's all funky looking.
It's all funky. So like he's and I'll give you. I'm going total game explain right here. So have a look at this video footage right here. So this is probably from the beginning of the game. Look at Link's right hand. It's all like burned out. So here it is right here. Hang on. Where's them falling? Right there. Come on, I got a freeze frame like game explain.
You're there.
Okay, let me pause. And they only flash you here. There it is right there. So Link's right arm burnt to a crisp. So he gets some sort of power in his right hand, but where does it come from? So
nobody knows.
This gives me some hardcore Princess Mononoke vibes too.
Yeah, it's probably intentional, huh?
Yeah, because a lot of Breath of the Wild was very, very Ghibli inspired. Ghibli. But no, like I'm excited for it. But I mean, like it was, I don't know, like I'm down for it. I'm down for it.
Yep, that'd be cool. Pretty cool.
Another thing they did, a lot of us, before the show, Cody and I were talking about, hey, maybe they'll give us some Game Boy stuff. And Cody had said, I'm not sure how this is going to work because of licensing. A lot of dev studios worked on these games, a lot of different publishers, yada, yada, yada. It's going to be hard to see like Minish Cap or, Pokemon trading card game, like that kind of stuff. And then here we go. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's there. You can play, if you really liked the remake of Link's Awakening, you can now play the OG. If you want to get your Tetris on, you can get your Tetris on. If you want to play the best Zelda in the franchise, you can play Minish Cap. So, like, these were all things that, like, I know I was really excited to see. The thing that really confused me was they're showing the second Mario Land there. But where's the first one?
I know.
Yep.
Like, what kind of decision is that? I will tell you, I'm excited for this because it kind of gives me hope that maybe, just maybe, we can get some sort of GameCube stuff, like what they haven't already ported over, or maybe even DS. I mean, Maybe the Switch successor will have something in the dock to where it'll project the thing through Wi-Fi onto your thing, and you could use your Switch in handheld mode as a second screen. I don't know. I'm hopeful.
That would be cool. That'd be cool. If anything, this just gives me hope that GameCube stuff may be on the horizon.
Right.
Like, actually on the horizon, because I think Game Boy in and of itself was kind of the big myth that it was coming for a very long time. I stopped believing it. That's why it wasn't on my own personal bingo card this go around. And like, this is not happening. It's not happening.
It was on mine for sure.
I want to be devil's advocate here and say, why is anybody excited about this? And why has it took Nintendo so damn long to do this? Switch is 7 years old. Why did they not have the Game Boy integration in a lot earlier? Like, why now in the Switch's lifespan is this a thing?
I'll tell you why.
Are they trying to get it more interest? You know what I'm saying?
The eShop closed. The eShop closes in March. All those titles you could buy on the
Wii U.
On the Wii, you could buy them on the Wii U and 3DS. So them closing it makes perfect sense why we're getting that stuff now.
Yeah, because it would be one thing for people who are still heavy users of both of those products. For Nintendo Switch to get it all for free and us to still have to pay for it if I was a heavy Wii U user or 3DS user, it would kind of put some salt in the mouth, you know? Or salt in the mouth? Salt in the wound. There we go.
Yeah. But like, here we are now. We're starting to get these games. I mean, to me it brings hope that we're going to get a lot of other stuff. Now the question is, they obviously flashed the Pokemon trading card game for Game Boy Color on there. Do we see Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, maybe Crystal, or do they to get people to get that higher tier of the NSO Online? Do they just say, here's Emerald for Game Boy Advance?
Maybe it's hard to say.
Here's the thing that I don't understand, and I hear this from a lot of people, and there are still people who are holding out to get Nintendo Switch Online because it's expensive or what have you. It's still just as cheap as Xbox Live, cheaper than PlayStation Plus. It has everything that everyone who has ever said, I'm holding out, they actually gave it to them, and people are still holding out. I don't think there's any game that will convince anyone to sign up for Nintendo Switch Online's higher tier. There will be people who are just like, I'm not going to give Nintendo my money to play online. I'm not worried about that. At that higher tier, and that's okay, but I don't think there's any game that will bring them over. But the Pokemon stuff getting added, that is a huge boon for people who are already invested in that, because that is added value that you cannot deny. Playing Pokemon Emerald, playing Pokemon Crystal, playing Pokemon Red, Blue,
with online functionality. Imagine if they somehow do something where it forgoes a link cable and you have some sort of online, and then if Nintendo or if the Pokemon company is really smart, you can get your Pokemon from Blue all the way up. To Scarlet and Violet now.
Yep, and not have to do it through some funky way through Pokemon Home and link cable from the past games to Sapphire all the way into then DS and then being able to put them in Pokemon
You can
Home.
do that. I think Gold and Silver back you can't import to modern consoles, but from Emerald now you can. I think, because I watched a video of somebody trading. It is really hard. It is really hard to get your Pokemon from the original ages into a modern day game, but you can do it.
It's possible. It's just going to take a whole thing. I'm excited. I'm excited. It's nice to have this stuff, and I mean, this kind of, for me, the Game Boy and GBA stuff, that's just bringing people over who aren't super into emulating. Because there's people who would say, I could play the ROM on my PC, but I'm using keyboard and mouse or whatever. They want to play it on Nintendo hardware. What's a better way to do it than playing Nintendo Switch Online?
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, me personally, I'd rather wait to get an analog pocket and then buy those cartridges physically. I know I'm a real purist. I know. Yeah.
Just load them into the SD card.
Yep, that's what I got mine.
Just
Mine's
load
right
them
there.
into the SD card. It runs exactly the way it should. And I'm not normally a big fan of emulation because you know me and my Game Boy collection, Eric. Like I have so many cartridges, and I cannot advocate enough for that SD card. Suddenly, it is a godsend for me. That is really the cartridge.
Oh, I know, fair enough. Well, speaking of games that made a comeback, have a look at this one. So you guys were excited about this and talking about this before. Metroid Prime. I never played this ever until the first time last night. Well, I tried to emulate it, but I found the controls really screwy. And now they've fixed them. They've done dual analog stick with camera control and stuff like that, which is just quality of life thing. But I played this for the first time last night, and I found it was very evocative of Super Metroid.
Yeah, I said Halo, but Super Metroid, yes.
Very similar.
So, I've been playing it, like I said, I was playing it on Dolphin, and this is legit the only way to play it. I feel like getting out the actual GameCube controller and playing it the right way. But the dual stick stuff makes the fumbliness of having to fight to point your gun at any enemy in that game so much better. Like I don't have to fight that so hard. Yeah. But they did really good with this remaster. The lighting engine in that game has been totally revamped.
Looks great.
They did totally new shaders in terms of what they did with their textures, how fire responds to Samus's suit.
When you charge a shot and you can see the face reflection in them.
Yeah. Dude,
yes.
Isn't that cool?
So you can see her face. They also made her wince and flinch too for a lot of the different if you launch a missile, she flinches. If you do the blaster, you can see her face kind of move a certain way as if oh no, her, you know what I mean? It's amazing. I mean, dude, the rain in the visor, the rain on the arm. If you move the cannon up and down, the rain follows that. It gives me hope that Metroid Prime 4 is going to be top tier.
Definitely lands somewhere in between remaster and remake. It's not quite a remaster, but it's definitely not a remake. But if you played Final Fantasy VIII's remaster that they released, that still looked like garbage. It was Final Fantasy VIII, but upscaled everything to 4K. This is Metroid Prime, but they have actually done some work to it, and it's noticeable. It's good.
The interesting point is and I talked about this in my Final Fantasy IX video that I released a couple of weeks ago. Because of the way that the developers had the source material, like Final Fantasy VIII, it was the same way. They couldn't do anything other than AI upscale the backgrounds. And of course, new character models. By new character models, I mean slightly tweaked. I mean they still kind of. But Metroid Prime, however, Nintendo still has those source files. They took those source files and then they went, "Here's a magic wand," and they just redid everything. And that's why they're able to keep that original vibe. I mean, even playing it last night, it still felt like a GameCube game. It still looks like a GameCube game. But it looks how GameCube games. How I look, how I remember
them.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly the point.
So good.
But it was cool. I'm excited to play more. Very excited to play more. We also had. Does anybody get into this game? Oh, hang on. I got to mute the audio for this. Does anybody get into this game here? This one right here, Pikmin. Anybody get into that? I'm not a fan.
That is my wife's favorite Nintendo game.
Yeah,
and
Mrs. KB likes it.
I would be remiss to talk about it if I said I pass, because it's not necessarily my jam. I like Pikmin, but I don't love Pikmin. My wife loves Pikmin, and that being said, this game, you get a dog. You can ride. There's no way I can't not play this. Can you pet that dog? Yes, you can pet that dog. It is going to be a cool, cute little time. And if they incorporate some of the multiplayer stuff they've done in the past on there, let's do this. I genuinely am kind of excited for this one.
Interesting. I never got into Pikmin. I remember renting Pikmin on GameCube from Blockbuster back in the day. Our good old friend Nettist, he was more of a Pikmin fan than I was. I tried Pikmin 3 I still have it on Wii U. Like I have the disc upstairs. I tried it. I couldn't get into it. But like Pikmin without Captain Olimar, I don't care. And I don't even care about Pikmin to begin with.
Here's the thing about Pikmin is like it was one of the first games I got on GameCube. And it was the first game that I still yet to this day can go back and play and go, man, the textures in this game look almost realistic. Mm-hmm. Like it looked really good back then and continues to look good today. In a way that I don't think a lot of games do. They don't hold up quite as well as Pikmin does. And I think it's because, I mean, you're working with gigantic small things. So everything blown up huge is going to be easier to make it look better. Yeah. Because you've got more detail.
Look at this dog, though, man.
He's so cute.
Yeah, the dog is adorable.
Reminds me of Poochie. From Yoshi's Island.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, I don't necessarily like Pikmin, but any game I can play with Mrs. KB, sign me up. You know.
Yeah, I think Mrs. KB is gonna really like that one. So I think it's gonna be really good. Why is everybody beeping me? Why are you guys reacting weird? Mrs. KB, I just said the wrong initials. I said my initials, Cody Christian.
That is the same thing. It's the same energy as when I used to say Derek on a different show, and then I would have say describe it quickly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
In another lifetime. There's a couple other things as well, like Samba de Amigo, which is a missed opportunity for them not saying Samba de Amiibo. Baton Kaito's remaster. That's pretty cool. People are excited about that.
People were screaming about that before Nintendo went live also, like in the chat. And I was like, that's not happening. I straight up was like, in what dream world do they live in? And then next thing I know, it got announced. I was like, what?
It's ridiculous, isn't it? Dead Cells Return to Castlevania, that's still happening. Katamari Reroll, that's pretty cool. And then some Splatoon 3 stuff, which was fine. Like that, they're bringing back the original Inkopolis Plaza with some new shops and shopkeepers. So like that's pretty cool. Like I think that's me. That's me. My son's running around upstairs.
I thought it was me.
No,
I thought it was my son's running around upstairs.
That's me. He just pounds into the. I don't know. It's loud as hell. Disney Illusion Island. I mean, there's a couple of other things here that I wasn't particularly interested in. Like Professor Layton is a series I know people get really stoked about.
Yeah.
But good for you if you're excited about it. Me personally, I don't really get into that. Fantasy Life, and then of course we would be remiss to say Bordeaux is now coming to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and with the Yoshi's Island course, which is really beautiful.
I love that course.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm alone in saying this though. I didn't think about it, but I didn't know Birdo wasn't already in the game.
I didn't even think about it.
No. It was funny though, but that course is beautiful.
Yeah, that gives us hope that perhaps other characters can come in, because I know some people are still waiting for Diddy Kong to come into the game. I would love for Diddy Kong to come into the game, but I always felt that they withheld Diddy Kong for a inevitable Diddy Kong Racing remake, which I swear to God I would donate a kidney for. I love that game so much.
I'll just load that on up into Dolphin and start playing it.
I have on your Steam Deck.
One of the few games that I have physically on my N64. I need to ask my parents to mail my 64 and Diddy Kong Racing and Mario 64 to me, and I also want to buy Quest 64 complete in box.
Oh, that is not a good game though. That's a bad game. I'm sorry.
Do I look like I cared?
No, maybe.
Quest 60. All right. We'll discuss it at a later point because it's something I have planned. I played that game with the guide growing up, and that game, it was really shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so
listen, everybody can have bad taste in games.
Yeah, I know, that's fine.
So I got some bad games I love.
Yeah. So it is a misunderstood game, Mark. That's a perfect point. Anyway, more on that later from me. So this. To me, this Direct was great, but it also said one thing. The Switch lifespan is almost out. Cody, you were talking about this in the pre-show. Can you please re-elaborate why exactly the Switch is on the way out, and this direct was a perfect summarization of that fact?
So a couple of pieces here that I think highlight the fact that this is the end of life, the final death throes for the Nintendo Switch is this, and I've said it from the beginning. The main thing that you can take away from this is that there's a new Legend of Zelda coming. There's a new Legend of Zelda coming, and I've talked about this in several episodes in the past, but that is always kind of your very first sign of that. The second sign here is the fact that you are getting multiple different iterations, special edition versions of the console. If any of you guys out there have read the Change in the Game book by Reggie Fils-Aimé, one of the things he talked about with the Wii was they started putting out a bunch of special edition controllers with the 3DS, with the DS rather, a bunch of special edition versions of the DS in order to spark more interest in that console and get people to initiate into that. Then here's the final nail in the coffin, in my opinion. The biggest final nail in the coffin is that almost every single one of these titles that were talked about, that were brought here, save for, I think, Samba de Amigo, the Batten Kaitos remaster, all of these titles, for the most part, have been known about. There was very little new that was shown here.
That's right.
But what was shown here was so amazing and fulfilled almost everyone's final wish. I left that direct going, what didn't I get?
Yeah.
What didn't I get?
Yeah.
And that's the problem that I think Nintendo is going to have going forward on this console for a lot of people who are hardcore Switch people is what can they give them after this? And there's some small things, and there's going to be that niche community of fans that they can appeal to. I mean, let's say they give you a new F-Zero. Let's say they do a Golden Sun. But those are niche titles, and I don't think those are going to be broad appeal and keep this thing on its legs. And I've heard a lot of people talking about how they are doing. How they have talked about the Switch is going to be a 10-year console. Yes, it's got to be a 10-year console because they need 3 years at the end of its life to get off on the next console. They're going to continue to support it into the next console's lifespan. That's just how Nintendo works. That's the reason you guys are all worried about, hey, they're closing the eShop on the Wii U and the 3DS.
It's 10 years ago, man.
To support that. Yep. So I fully believe, based on this entire wad that they've blown, and on top of that, the fact that this is a new iteration of Zelda. This is everything anyone could have ever wanted. You guys are finally getting everything. I fully believe that this is the end of it. Like, this was a strong Nintendo Direct. In a way that, like, they haven't had a strong Nintendo Direct in 3 years, it feels like.
No, I feel that.
Every other Nintendo Direct has been, for lack of better terminology, real
Yeah.
Like, it's been bad. But this is the best thing, and after Tears of the Kingdom and the well of remasters being dried up, I don't know what's left for that console.
Not much.
I mean, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, that's all I want. I got everything else, that's all I want. And they're going to have a summer direct, so what do they show there?
Yep.
If this one was good, how do they top this in the summertime?
At the same time, though, like, I'm still hoping that they announce a new console and come out with it for the launch of Zelda. Because like, as from the GameCube, like, Twilight Princess released simultaneously on the Wii as it did GameCube. I mean, the GameCube version was flipped. Link was actually left-handed, and Twilight Princess on the GameCube.
I think that was just because the layout of the Wiimote and the nunchuck, though.
Yeah, that's it. Because most people were right-handed. So, it's funny. Like, even Metroid Prime, the remaster that they put out, I know was there to close the gap between the June 13th, 2017, which, by the way, was 2,070 days ago since they first announced Metroid Prime. Okay.
Yeah.
So. And of course, it would be great to get Metroid Prime 2 and 3 out there as well. But I mean, this was very much it was a great direct, but it was also a little bit of filler if you want to take a step back and look at it objectively. Because Prime Remaster, filler to get everybody off their backs about Prime 4. So a couple remasters, filler. That's really great. The Baten Kaito stuff, that was great. Pikmin 4, like, to me, that's a filler game. I don't personally care. And there was a lot that was shown at the direct, which was really great. It was really great. It was very it was a substantial direct, but it's just like it's a very immediate future direct. It's not like what's happening past May direct.
Zero in the live chat here says still needs Silk Song. That would have never been in a mainline direct, though. That would have been in an Indie World Direct.
Yeah.
And then even beyond that, that game can launch on any version of console Nintendo puts out. It will be on Steam day one. It will be everywhere. And I don't think Silk Song is a console seller.
No.
So at the end of the day, Nintendo has fulfilled everyone, 99% of their fans' dreams and wishes with this direct. I don't know that there's many more dreams and wishes still left out there.
Right. The only thing I could really see is maybe another Zelda game getting remade. Because they did Breath of the Wild, they released that, and then like that E3, they were like, we got a new one coming, we got a new remix, so maybe that is their holiday lineup. That's it. That's what gets the people going.
And look, DJ Bob says in the chat, and I know Nintendo prefaced this, that it's like literally the first half of 2023, which is fine, but like they're not showing it. Like Nintendo has been, a lot of other developers have really just dropped the ball and shown things way too soon. For example, Prime 4.
Yeah,
it's too, like, it was a different world back then when they announced it. So for Nintendo not to show anything beyond is really smart, but also it leaves like is 2023 a bookend for the Switch? Do you know what I mean? Like, is this the point where it's just like, okay, we're only just gonna sprinkle a little bit in here because we got more to show? I don't know, man. I think it'd be interesting to see what's next for like how they phase out the Switch and how they bring in something new. But I definitely think the end is near, and them only teasing things for the immediate future kind of shows that they may have something more on the way.
Well, a lot of those titles were, there was they said first half of 2023, but some of them were saying summer.
Yep.
And that's what was like a little confusing. That could be
for Nintendo's quarter. That could be basically our fall. Like
100%.
Doesn't their financial year conclude in like it's different?
Yeah.
February. So I don't know. I feel like this is the final throws for the Nintendo Switch as far as being fully 100% supported by Nintendo and done by Nintendo. They are looking forward more than ever, and I think it would be the smartest decision for them to, because there are enough people complaining that Scarlet and Violet did not run 60 frames per second 1080p on their handheld console. Like, it's this tech was outdated when it came out, and it's really outdated now.
But allegedly, Metroid Prime runs 60 frames.
It does.
Oh, this game from GameCube 20 years ago?
So, like, that's what I don't understand. Is it the tech, or is it the software at this point?
It's a combo, I believe. I believe it's a combo. I believe when you look at a lot of indie games that run really well on the Steam Deck or on your PCs, and they can't even handle it in a place where this used to be an indie machine, and they can't handle it or chalk it here. And then you look at people like the Scarlet and Violet dev team being all brand new people who don't know what they're doing and created a jank game. I love that game. It's jank. I'm not going to deny it.
Oh,
Yeah.
It is nice
Super
to
jank.
love something and still be able to criticize it.
Sure.
But like at the end of the day, like it's a mix of both, I think. But I don't think anyone can deny it is time for new hardware from Nintendo. I mean, there's a reason that all the rumor videos always succeed the way that they do. Like
People want it. People buy into that, and that's why, rumor videos do well. Because people want to know more, and I'm always excited to see what's next from Nintendo. And of course, like coming from the Wii U, it's obvious that they were going to do the Switch next, but like it's not so obvious what they're going to do next. And I think that's the $1 million question: is like what's next and how are they going to do it? Are they going to continue with that Switch formula? Are they going to the hybrid home / portable console is a successful thing? Do they just make a Super Nintendo Switch, et cetera? Yeah. So that's a whole other discussion that we covered in a previous episode. But I'm interested to know what's next, and I want to know more. I want to know it now.
Bullfrog in the live chat talks about how Witcher 3 runs, and there's no way Scarlet and Violet run that poorly without the team being inexperienced. But I would challenge anyone who thinks Witcher 3 runs to really look at that game and then look at it on a Steam Deck. It is the most
100%.
muddy experience in the entire world. It is ugly. Yeah, it's there, but it is ugly on the Nintendo Switch comparatively.
That's like saying Apex Legends, man. Apex Legends runs on Switch, but good luck playing it.
Listen, Doom runs on a 4-bit LCD screen. Doesn't mean it's good. So I don't know.
Making sure that your software is optimized for the hardware, and some people don't do that.
Yeah.
So speaking of the Direct and what's next, let's talk about what was left off of our Direct and what's still left on our wish list with our wrap up. So we had a great conversation pre-show. Cody, you had suggested this particular topic. What was less? What's still left on the table for us? What do we feel like was missing from this Direct? Like you were so satisfied you probably went outside and had a smoke, dude. You had a great time. But like, what were you
Stop
thinking?
trying to start that rumor.
I'm just talking. It's just a talking point. It's just figure of speech.
Man.
What's still left on the table for you?
Listen, so there are a couple of things, and I know I've punctuated a lot of my sentences in the actual topic of what is left out there for Nintendo to do. It's murky future, blah blah blah. But I think there are actually two things that I wished for that didn't happen, and those two things are Metroid Prime 2 and 3 also being remastered. If 4 is genuinely coming to Nintendo Switch, why is 1 the only thing I can experience in a modern day console, a modern day handheld experience? I really, really wish that 2 and 3 were coming, or at least confirmed coming.
Yeah.
Because they may still be coming, but it's not confirmed for me. And it would have been nice to know, hey, after I finish 1, I can dive into 2 and I can dive into 3.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think was missing, that I think Nintendo is really dropping the ball with, like legitimately, is a tie-in video game for their Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Yeah.
I question, and look, franchise games, tie-in video games, 90% of the time in today's world suck. 90% of the time in today's world suck. But this is a Nintendo movie with a Nintendo property with a Nintendo mascot. I am surprised there's not something to tie this together and kind of boost some sales, even if it's Mario versus Donkey Kong March of the Minis levels of bad. Put something out. Draw attention to this movie you're putting out. And that's the only other thing I would have wanted. It's the only other thing I would have wanted.
KB, what about you? What's on your wish list that you think like a realistic?
So I had Metroid Prime Trilogy. We got Prime 1. I had give me Game Boy GBA. We got that. I was really hoping to see a Wind Waker Twilight Princess combo. I still am holding out for that because I never played Wind Waker. That's the one Zelda game I have yet to actually play, and I would have loved to been able to play that on actual Nintendo hardware. Like I could play it on my Steam Deck just fine, but I know I'm going to get halfway through it, and then they're going to go, "Ha here it is. Here's the thing." And then it's like, well, I don't want to play it now on Nintendo because I'm halfway through it on something else. So like, I don't know. That would have really put the icing on the cake for me. And I agree with Cody. Some sort of Mario news. The movie's coming out. Give us something. I had said in our little pre-show before the direct went live, I said maybe we'll see merch or something. We already know the toys leaked. We know thanks to Australia McDonald's that the Happy Meal toys leaked. So like we know merch is out there. Show it to us. Like you've done it before for Mario Day. Yeah. Show us the T-shirts we can buy for $100. You know what I mean? Like come on.
Well, there's the Jack Pacific toys. Like those look great, and I'll buy those. Like the Nintendo hasn't properly announced those, right? I don't even think those were properly announced at all.
No, they could have did it.
I'm just surprised
that people's hands though.
Yeah, I know people have them, but why? I'm surprised that there wasn't any more Mario news, like just Mario news in general for like a new mainline Mario game or something like that. Maybe we'll see something later this year. Also, just in general, like. I agree with you, KB. The Wind Waker / Twilight Princess thing, like that game is really sorely missed from the Switch, and people will go nuts if they could play Wind Waker on the Switch. And just as a general game, some GameCube support would be great, like some legacy support for those GameCube games. Like they're fantastic. I would love to play Melee again on Switch. Play that online. I'd play that over Ultimate all day.
Right. I mean, there's so much they could do. Like that's going to probably be one of the only Zelda games missing now from the Switch.
Yeah,
that and Twilight Princess, because you could play NES Zelda, you can play Super Nintendo Zelda, you can play the Game Boy Zeldas now, you can play the GBA Zelda. You have Skyward Sword, Breath of the Wild. All we need now is Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. Let's go.
Just like the Mario stuff. Like you can't play Galaxy 2, you cannot play New Super Mario Bros. Wii.
Yeah.
That's
good games.
Yep. That is it. Like, make this the defining system that you get two of Nintendo's powerhouses, which are by far, I would say Zelda's probably more important to Nintendo than Mario is in the sense that it makes money for them.
I agree.
But I think Mario is still their mascot, and make this console the one where you can play it all.
Why not? I mean, if they're still planning to support this console like within a 10-year lifespan, it makes sense because that if they put that stuff out now, gives them another 3-4 years. They could even stretch that beyond 10 years. You know what I mean? Like the PS4 and Xbox One are 10 years old this year. Can you believe that? That is a sickening figure to me. Like even discovering that the PS3 is 17 years old or something like that last week just absolutely blew my mind. So there's a lot left on the table, and of course Mother 3 never going to happen, but I would love to see Nintendo acknowledge it. Still, they're never going to do it. They have kind of passively acknowledged it with Reggie throwing a fireball at the fan in the front row of E3 claymation style a couple years ago, but
GBA's there, buddy. We could get it.
Yeah. And there's been a couple of people tweeting that the possibility of Mother 3 coming to the Switch is actually higher now because of this. And I know even the translator for the Mother 3 English version, the Tomato from Starman.net, he has said I think he's even offered the translation to Nintendo. Just use it, just take it, just go run with it, do it because it's for the fans. It's always been for the fans since day one.
For the good of man.
Yes.
So there you go. That's our wrap up for episode 30. Which, by the way, thank you everybody for having been with us for 30 episodes. What a milestone! We're very proud to create weekly a wonderful show that we are proud of and that you guys continue to engage with and watch. And we're very thankful and always eternally grateful for your support because you put the U in support.
Yep.
And PP and support too.
Yep. You guys put
my
you
God.
guys put the
It's
PPs
right after
in.
you.
Yep. Yep. You PP. Okay.
I love you. Bye.
We're not gonna say that. Any final episode? Any final episode 30? Where, by the way, thank you
That
so
was
much.
my final episode 30 words.
If you want, I'm not gonna end it there because it's awkward. It's funny. Remember, if you want more, you can go subscribe on Patreon, like all these wonderful people have. Behind the scenes shows and stuff every week. You get an extra maybe hour or so of content per week, and then plus all the bonus shows as well. So there's a lot happening over there. And if you want to be part of the breakfast crew, as I suppose we call it, or join the breakfast table, we'd love to have you there.
Yep. Bonus content today for the pre-show recording, by the way. If you guys want to hear some deep dives on Twitch analytics and how Twitch affects you as a creator, if you guys are curious about that, I've had a pretty candid discussion with KB and Eric beforehand. You should consider it. It's more than just midnight snacks and ladies episodes. It's
some real talk. Anyway, thank you for listening, watching, wherever you're listening or watching, whenever you're listening, watching. Even if you're from Rancho Cucamonga, thank you for being our best friends of all time. We're going to flick on over to our post show now, where we're just probably going to shoot the breeze for a couple of minutes, and we're going to just see what's what. So we'll be right back. Thank you for watching episode 30. We will see you for the post show. Bye.
Bye.
Don't forget your towel.
Bye. Don't forget your towel.